April Grace, Ryan Walters offer contrasting concerns in runoff debate.
So this whole debate is just Ryan Walters trying to get April Grace to just mention woke politics or like culture wars, just trying to get her to say these buzzwords, and she's like, you know, Ryan, I don't know what you mean, how you're defining woke or what that is, and it's just like she's not grabbing the bait, and I fucking love it. Don't get me wrong, she's absolutely insane too, but she's actually focusing on real problems in our schools, not made up ones. So that I really appreciate. But oh my god, it's just like everything that Walter says feels so rehearsed. Like this debate was on TV. Like it wasn't, the typical debates that we see at like the Douglas Auditorium or at some random college. Like they were on a TV news set. And it just felt very rehearsed and like a performance from Walters more than an actual debate. Like April Grace is doing her freaking best to make this a real debate, but Ryan Walters seems to be like debating the left people, and they're not even present in this conversation.
Yeah.
So it was basically like 2 hours of him making himself mad for no reason.
Yeah, I mean, and that's good political messaging, right? I mean, like, is stick to your talking points that you think are going to win. I don't know. I go back and forth. Like, I, on one hand, think he's so insane that, like, he won't win. Like, that he, like, even only the most committed Trump people or, just Fox News viewers are going to vote for him. But then I'm like, crap, man, August runoff, like, that's probably who's going to show up, Because then you got this poll, Mullen and Walters hold edge in respective runoff. Now, this was done, I figured out later, because they don't tell you exactly who it was. It was Shepard who did it, and they're wrong a lot. If Amber Integrated did one, I would love to see that. Or if the Change people who did the big statewide poll, if they polled this race too, I'd be really interested to see what their polling says. But, I mean, Walters has a substantial lead according to this poll. So,
Uh,
yeah.
I really appreciate that April Grace is, standing against this whole school choice thing. She's like, that's absolutely pointless. But she said this really good line. It sounds like that what Ryan would like to do if he's state superintendent is divert public funds away from our local community public schools. Right now in Oklahoma, the money does follow the student. And I'm like, this woman is saying real things right now. And then Ryan Walters just loses his train of thought and then tries to bring up another like arguing point with her. And it's just like so tired and old. It's
Yeah.
disgusting.
So
And
Anna,
it's
I
like,
want to
oh,
ask
God.
you this because Anna was like, she's still batshit crazy too. I really don't know a whole lot about the woman. I was confused at first because I saw these Democrats talking about they're gonna vote for her, and I'm like, why? Okay, I get it because of the runoff or whatever to try to get him out. So, but at this point, I still don't know a whole lot about April Grace. Fill
Well,
me in, Anna.
so
Why is
she's
she
running
batshit
on
crazy?
like
I think
actual
she's a
issues that are
Republican woman.
facing. Yeah, she's a Republican woman, but she's picking issues that are actually relevant to Oklahoma schools to talk about. Ryan Walters just keeps bringing in this like woke politics, the indoctrination war, all of those crazy like things that don't necessarily mean anything. But April Grace is like, we're bottom in the country for funding. Ryan Walters never talks about that.
Yeah.
That's one of the things for me. But if you go to her website, I mean, she's still like, we need to fight like CRT in the classrooms and we don't need to make students feel bad about their race, blah, 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 blah. But it's not her main talking point. It's not what she always diverts back to. It's just a talking point on her website. I haven't really heard her say anything publicly about it. So I think the reason why people are choosing her or to vote for her in this runoff is because giving Ryan Walters the like Republican nominee and having him on the November ballot is basically just like he's going to win that shit, unfortunately, because the people who are voting for him are people who don't really know anything about what's going on.
Well, it wasn't a question of why vote for her between her and him because we know he's batshit crazy for sure.
Uh,
I was just confused as to why all of these Democrats were like, "We're voting for April Grace," and I'm like, "What is happening?" but
I
I
mean,
don't,
uh,
yeah.
I think she's just like Joy kind of 2.0. She's just very reasonable, um, middle of the road, probably liberal. I mean, I think she is LGBTQ identifying, not publicly,
She
but
better not be as a fucking Republican. Did she not?
yeah, like that's the thing that hasn't come out widely yet that I'm shocked
Let me
hasn't
You
go
come
trying to
out
out
yet.
her on the stream right now, Nick?
No,
What is
I mean, if I've heard it from someone, like
Isn't
100
this
people
what
have
they
heard
wanted?
it.
They want this in the schools. If you're gay, people need to out you, right? Right,
Yeah,
Ed?
exactly.
You're
like,
right. You're not wrong. Your librarians are supposed to like go and tell like students' parents, "Hey, your kid checked out a book about being gay or whatever the fuck." I can't even.
I know, and like
You're-
that's like
yeah.
that's the thing I get kind of upset about is like, you know, what are we doing here? If you're not gonna fight, like I don't know, if you're not gonna fight this, like why are you running? Because like this is the fight you're gonna have because this is what the right wants you to fight about. Like you should just fight it. But
She
But-
is right, essentially. So
so we'll
And
see.
she also made a point. She's like, "Why does Walters never bring up any good things that happened in our public school systems?" And it's like, yeah, why does he never do that? He's never like, "Good job to this school for doing this or whatever." Like it's always just like him attacking some type of, you know, shit going on in the schools.
while we're speaking about schools, you talking to me,
She's-
Nick?
Yeah, you're kind of freezing up a little bit. Sorry, I can hear you though.
I just, while we're talking about schools, I think it's really fucking interesting to note, especially when we talk about how we're bottom in spending. Why is it I went to enroll my daughter in school for the first time the other day, and PC schools have a fucking tank, bro?
Like a police
tank.
thing?
Yeah, a police tank.
God knows.
What school district?
PC. Yeah, I went to the administration building the other day. I know this was completely off topic,
No,
but
I
it
mean,
kind of traumatized me having to go enroll my fucking kid and see a goddamn police tank.
I
And
mean,
I'm just like,
yeah, I was tweeting this morning about like they're wrapping up all the school lunch programs because the funding is drying up from COVID, and it's just like, can we just feed kids like who are hungry? Like, is that really too much to ask in a country that generates $50,000 a year in GDP per capita? Like, we can't feed hungry children. Like, is that what I'm to understand? Like, it's so stupid.
we're
Our
supposed to
priorities.
be the richest country in the world, yet
And
we
yeah,
are like expecting second graders to starve.
yeah. So just like the last little bit, I just want to say on the Walters deal and just to respond in chat, unless polling comes out saying otherwise, like I think Walters is going to win. Like I think April had a limited upside anyway in a runoff, and you know Walters has, I think, things that he could go toward, like what I just mentioned a little bit ago. Plus, I think Stick could ride hard for him, and like I think he could widen that lead a lot with just like a concerted last minute push.
Obviously, we don't want that, but like,
no, I know. I'm
it
just
would
I'm
be
just prognosticating here.
just
like,
think about how much fun we could have fucking with him if he did get that role. That's like the one bright side to things. I try to always look for the good side of things, and it's just we get to troll him even harder now.
And somebody put up a video of him like teaching a history class. I think it was maybe Andy Fugate or somebody. But anyway, where he was like just sounding like a normal teacher. Like he was like talking to, like I think he had the March on Washington as his Zoom background, and he was talking about systemic racism and was just like normal about it, you know? So it's like this is all a performance, right? Like I mean, it's just a crazy bit of political performance art that is disgusting and overtly racist and whatever else. But where I'm at is I do think he may have overplayed his hand in the general election. Like I think he could get out of the primary for the reasons stated before and just because of how crazy the August electorate is. But I mean, Jenna not being qualified, you know, your state superintendent, it's a political position. I mean, liberals just got to get over themselves if they don't want Ryan Walters. But I think he could be crazy enough that you could rally parents, people with kids in schools. You know, like I think there's enough of an electorate and enough moderate Republicans who could split ticket on that race. Like I think that is the race that could like honestly help Joy the most. because I think Walters is so out there anyway. But I mean, folks are going to have to like really rally around the flag. I mean, they're going to have to take this threat for what it is. I mean, the public school crowd, and like go super hard for Gina Nelson if they want to stop Ryan in November. Thanks for watching our video. Please give it a like and hit that subscribe button for more content. If you want to engage with us, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and Instagram.